This Shabbat is a transition, and it's a bit disorienting. There is a learning curve. And this transition, this learning curve, are in the context of needing to know how to protect us as a community from a dangerous virus, and how at the same time to maintain our equilibrium. How in this moment we can find with each other, with our tradition, a sense of strength, a strength of hope, a strength of the qualities of character that define who we are at our best. Our Torah reading, Parsha Ki Tisa, builds to a very dramatic and traumatic moment. But before we get to that moment, consider the next two verses after our Torah reading. The next verse is, Vayitein el Moshe kechalato ledaber, and when God finished speaking with him on Mount Sinai, God gave 2 tablets of the pact, stone tablets inscribed with the finger of God. The next sentence in our Torah reading is the peak. The peak of these are the times of goodness. This is when our stock as a people is at its top. And now, the next sentence. V'yar ha'am, and the people saw, Ki voshesh Moshe l'redet min hahar, that Moses was hesitating or delayed or taking a long time in coming down from the mountain. V'yikahel ha'am al Haron, and the people gathered together against Aaron. V'yomru, and they said, Elav kum aseh lanu Elohim. They said to him, get up, make for us gods, asher yochu lefanenu, that will go before us. Kizem Moshe ha'ish, because that man Moses, asher ha'elinu me'eretz Mitzrayim, which took us out from the land of Egypt, lo yadanu ma hayalo. We don't know what happened to him. And so what will unfold is an act of infidelity to God, the building of the golden calf, a low point in the relationship with Israel. So what happened? What happened between those two verses? What happened from this moment of Mount Sinai in the background, God giving Moses the tablets to bring to the people, and the people freaking out? The rabbis look at the word boshesh, here translated as took a long time in coming down. The midrash is that Moses had said to them, I will be on the mountain for 40 days. But what he didn't take into account was the day of going up the mountain. And so they waited for him to return. They counted the 40 days and no Moses. And they freaked out. The word boshesh can be understood as bishesh, on the 6th hour. You know, you only have to wait so long for a professor before you can pack it in. 20 minutes. They waited, in this case, 6 hours. Bishesh. The 6th hour, he didn't come back. There's no leader. There's no direction. Though Rashi will point out that the word boshesh, which can mean delayed, can also mean to become ashamed. They shamed themselves in this moment. And this moment of uncertainty is what allowed all to unravel. Moses had literally, with God, led them by the hand. They were in many ways a slave people, used to being told what to do. And now they were bereft of certainty. Moses was not there. It is precisely in moments of uncertainty that we understandably feel anxious. It is when there is uncertainty that we can feel overwhelmed. And it is in moments of uncertainty that we can rise to trust in the future, to trust in each other, to trust in God, to trust that this too shall pass. And so that is the moment we are now in. We are now in a moment of profound uncertainty. Everything looks so good a month ago, if I had only taken my stocks out of the market then. And in fact, I say that both tongue and cheek. But seriously, follow the money. Because when we see the yo-yo of the stock market and it's going down, that's real. That's real in terms of but one sign of an economic impact on us and on those around us. The seniors in our community who have saved their whole life and some who are now dependent on their portfolios. I got one mailing this week of someone saying, I don't know if I can proceed in a normal way because my savings are now different. I am worried about the people who will not go to work on Monday because of social distancing, because they're told that there's nobody coming to the restaurant where they wash the dishes. I am concerned about people who live paycheck to paycheck in our midst, for whom every day earning a salary matters. This is a time in which we as a nation are tested in terms of who we are and what are our priorities amidst uncertainty. This is a time where we as family and friends are tested in terms of our own generosity with money and with care. Calling others to check in and say how you're doing. Because social distancing can also mean isolation for too many. And I am concerned about despair and depression that comes with isolation. That is what we do have control over. We have control over how we treat each other. Love is contagious too. When we reach out to others in caring ways in these days ahead, it does matter. That is what we do have control over. Few numbers, and that is this is a moment of uncertainty. We don't know how long it'll last. We even don't know quite how dangerous it is. We don't know because the testing hasn't been done that thoroughly. I always do also follow Israel and what is going on in Israel, so a comment in that regard. As of the eve of Shabbat, there were 164 people in Israel who were diagnosed with the virus, and there were 40,000 people who had been exposed in one way or another who were in isolation. For rough math, Israel is about 1/50th the size of America. That's like 2 million people in Israel now separated. But though I will add, no one has died in Israel. And indeed, there is the hope, not only in Israel, but everywhere, that if this virus, when it does catch, is diagnosed early enough, that people don't necessarily have to die. The problem is not responding seriously. Momentum means we move forward as normal. Israel, as one example, is shutting down because this is not normal. This is a very contagious virus. It is not the common flu. And those who would categorize it that way are creating unnecessary danger for others. It is not the normal flu in that we don't have a resistance to it in terms of its dangers. We don't have a vaccine to help prevent it. It's not the flu in terms of it's much more catchy and much more dangerous. And yet, And now I catch my breath on the positive. I am deeply moved by, first, this moment of congregation, having responded to our leadership to make accommodations with this video delivery and sharing of prayer. We need our rituals now, more than ever, to ground us in the familiar, to provide a sense of the perspective that comes with rituals that transcends any one moment, and that links us to the beauty of Shabbat. I am pleased by how many in our country are stepping forward, both in the scientific community, the medical community, and even the political community, to make a difference. We do depend on each other, and that includes government, because government represents us collectively, both state, city, and nationally. And so in the days ahead, this will be a trying and difficult time. Again, for those among us, both in our synagogue community and in our national community, I am deeply concerned about the financial hardships as well as the danger of health in the days ahead. Prayer is an expression to God that comes from our deepest place. And so, on behalf of all of us, a closing prayer. Ribono Shalom, Master of the universe, Ki Boshesh, Moses took longer and the people panicked. May we not panic amidst uncertainty. May we stand feeling confident that this too shall pass. For all past problems have passed. May we act responsibly now, out of the norm, to be safe. Let us overreact for purposes of safety, but let us underreact in terms of panic. Let us be calm. Let us breathe out and breathe in, knowing that every breath is the gift of life. May we celebrate the life that we have. May we do so with love and compassion and trust. Gam zeh ya'avor, this too shall pass, but your God's presence shall endure, as will our love for each other. Amen.
We continue on page 184 for Musaf. יתגדל ויקדש שמי רבה, ולמד יברח ירותה, וימליך מלכותה בחייכנו יומך.